Hey guys, I wanted to give you a rundown of the changes, the latest changes to the editor and the game, I guess. Not much changes to the game itself. You'll notice there's a polygon over here. Um, so I guess let's jump into the editor. There are now polygons. Oh, this video is inappropriate. Anyway, so with a polygon, you can select this body type thing. I added a selector for this, so static objects are fixed and cannot be moved. I don't think we're going to use kinematic objects. It's just built in, so that's there. And then dynamic objects are anything that's going to be able to move. And you've got all your other physics properties that we had before. And then you've got down here a vertices editor. So if you click on that, you'll get it'll change color just to show you which one you're editing. And now you can't click anything. You can't click anything else in the interface. You're just in like polygon edit mode. And to get out of polygon edit mode, you just right click and then you could click on stuff again. So we're going to go back in. This is the last point in the series, and this is like an imaginary line. So if you click, it'll stem from the white point, and the white line will change. If that makes any sense at all, I hope it does. You can also drag your points, do whatever you want. You'll notice the plus is the center. That probably doesn't matter for a lot of things, but it might be important if we're making something that rotates. So you can delete points by hovering the mouse over and hitting delete or backspace, and you can insert points. So if you click, it'll just add a point to the end, but if you want to insert a point, you control and click on the line, and it'll give you an extra point there. And when you're done, you can just right click and that'll be that. So I've been editing this instance of this new prefab. There's actually, because you edit it like in the environment, there's no way to edit the prefabs, which is a problem, except I added a new feature to get around that. So if we click on this instance, we've got these vertices. Actually, let's move the camera a little. That we've updated, and if you right click, and this will work for any of the other properties, if you right click you can reset, which actually will reset it to what the prefab value is, or you can override the prefab value, which we're going to do now. Just show it off. Gives you a warning message, you confirm. As you can see, I think we had 7 vertices before and now we have 9. So if we get rid of that, if we look at this, it now has 9, so it's the same thing. So what we've done is we've pushed this value to the prefab. You can do that for any of these values. You could set whatever you want and push it to the prefab. And as you can see, any matching instances will also get updated as long as they have the same value as the prefab and it hasn't been overwritten. Cool. Also, if you don't know, the arrow keys let you move around the screen. I'll chunk this. So textures. What's our texture? Tits. Great. That's totally inappropriate. Should have used something else. I also don't even know how to use my own editor. Confirm. Delete. Okay. Textures. You can place them wherever you want. But if you want to... I'm going to change this one just for the lulz. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Grab these. So I've got a texture. Also, you couldn't drag textures before. Now you can drag textures. And if you want to snap them to a grid, the grid is specifically 128 by 128. So if we want to have different grids, we're going to have to change that. And also, only textures are currently snapping to the grid, so if you have like a circle or something, it doesn't snap to the grid. But now that I've set it, the texture will snap to the grid and only be able to place it on grid. And I believe that except for some minor bug fixes and some other small changes. Oh no, there's one more thing. I'm going to turn snap off. So one more thing has changed. You see I've got this hammer. So I haven't figured out exactly how we're going to do this. This is just like the first iteration just to get it working. And if you drag on an instance of the hammer, it has a texture and a physics polygon. The texture is the hammer. The texture has been moved so that the handle is at the center of the polygon, and the polygon has been drawn around the business end of the hammer. You'll notice that the center of the polygon isn't actually in the polygon. This is not really how it's represented in the game. This is just a physics hack or not a physics hack, just a little bit of a hack to like how we could put together editing in the editor. So this is currently you can change this hammer and it'll change the hammer in the game, but you can't yet add more hammers. I haven't added any way of specifically identifying what's a hammer and what's not a hammer. So yeah, you'll be able to just build it by adding a texture, putting the handle of the texture at the polygon, or adding a polygon, putting the handle end at the polygon center, and then boxing around the head of the hammer. You'll be able to make any shape. And swords and staves and stuff will probably be fairly similar, if not exactly the same. And that is all. I hope you guys are happy with the new changes. I got one more thing to add. When you're editing the hammer, you're editing an instance. But when you're editing the polygon and probably the offset of the hammer too, you're editing an instance. But I need the prefab to have the values that we're going to use, and then you actually want to delete this because we don't want it in our level. So what you do is basically the same thing you do with the polygon editor. Drag the hammer out, set the texture. Or, set the texture first, then you don't have to push it out, and then set up the physics polygon, and then everything you've changed, you're going to have to override the prefab. Here, override prefab, or, whatever you've done. You have to override the prefab. I guess set as much as you can in the prefab before getting started. I'm not sure if this is how we'll do it for the entirety of the project, but I just thought it was a quick and easy way to get it up and running. And, we might end up doing it like that for the whole project if it's not too much work. Anyway, that is all. Thank you.